If I told you there's one federal ethics law that applies to everyone in government except the President of the United States, you'd probably assume that was a conspiracy theory. It's not. And that loophole may have quietly reshaped what the presidency is. While most Americans were arguing about headlines, something quieter happened in plain sight. The sitting President of the United States kept financial stakes in industries he regulates, expanded them while in office, and operated inside a legal carve-out that doesn't apply to anyone else in government. Here's the core claim. Trump's second term represents the clearest merger of personal wealth and presidential power in modern US history. Not because of a hidden conspiracy, but because the system allows it. Forbes estimated Trump's net worth rising from roughly $3.9 million in 2024 to about $7.3 billion by late 2025. That surge didn't come from skyscrapers or golf courses. It came from crypto ventures, a politically driven media stock, and an aggressive licensing push tied directly to his political brand. Before taking office, Trump helped launch a meme coin called Trump, followed by a stablecoin venture. By fall 2025, estimates tied hundreds of millions of dollars in paper value to Trump-linked digital assets. Crypto markets move on hype, regulation, and enforcement signals, the very terrain the presidency influences. Then, in office, major crypto legislation was signed. This isn't about whether crypto is good or bad, it's about exposure. When the president's personal wealth is connected to a volatile market that reacts to federal posture, the line between governance and self-interest becomes structurally blurry. And here's the loophole almost nobody talks about. The primary federal criminal conflict of interest law, the one that forces cabinet members to divest or recuse, does not apply to the president. The Constitution contains emoluments clauses meant to prevent foreign bribery and extra compensation, but it does not require divestment. Courts never definitively ruled on how those clauses apply to modern business structures during Trump's first term, because cases were dismissed on procedural grounds. So the country is left with disclosure instead of prohibition, transparency instead of separation. And transparency does not neutralize incentives. Trump Media and Technology Group, reporting minimal revenue and significant losses in 2024, nonetheless carried valuations in the billions. In markets, that kind of pricing reflects narrative, loyalty, and speculation as much as fundamentals. Political capital becomes financial capital. Then came a planned merger with a nuclear fusion firm, placing energy policy, federal grants, and regulatory oversight in the same ecosystem as presidential equity exposure. Even if no improper act occurs, the incentive structure is obvious. When policy can influence sectors tied to personal equity, the public cannot easily separate motive from mandate. The official defense says he is following applicable laws. That may be technically correct, but those laws were written for an era before meme coins, before global capital moved in milliseconds, before a president could issue assets whose value fluctuates with his own power. This is not a personality debate, it is a structural one. In Italy, Berlusconi blurred media ownership and executive authority. In Israel, Netanyahu governed while facing legal jeopardy. In France, stricter oversight bodies police financial disclosure. In Russia, state power and wealth are fused outright. The United States is not Russia. But when presidents are exempt from the conflict of interest statute binding their subordinates, when divestment is voluntary, and when markets can treat the presidency itself as a signal generator, a new category of risk emerges. You don't need secret meetings. You don't need envelopes of cash. You just need incentives aligned the wrong way. If this is normal, why didn't any modern president before him try it? For decades, there was an unwritten rule that the presidency should be insulated from personal enrichment, not just legally, but optically. That norm is gone. What replaces it depends on whether voters, Congress, and future presidents decide this model is innovation or corrosion. Because once the presidency becomes an asset class, it won't matter who wins. The office itself changes, and that is bigger than one man.